Well, hello. I want to talk to you today about the Edison Collier. It's one of the first really expensive pens I ever bought. Now, expensive being relative, I bought the production line version of it. I bought it to celebrate completing the first draft of a novel that I'm now on the third draft of. And first thing you'll notice about this pen is it's pretty. What attracted me to it? It's pretty. I looked at all the Edison line, and this finish, it's a persimmon swirl, just wow, it was pretty. And of course I'm looking at the Goulet website, which doesn't have all the different resins that Edison produces, but whatever, it's pretty, I'm happy. It has chatoyance. You can see there's like a shimmery line on it. A lot of this kind of finish does. I mean, the Noodler's pen I'm comparing it to has the same kind of chatoyance. Different kind of finish on it. Also very pretty and flashy actually, but as you can see also a lot smaller. We'll get to size in a minute. If you're using this pen, this is a big honkin' pen. It fits very nicely in my pen unposted, and thank goodness, because sits up here, or does it? You do not post the Edison Collier. This is not a postable pen. It's a cartridge fill pen with the same cartridge that you'll find in the Beaumont and the other cartridge pens. If you take cartridge out real quick, the nibs are interchangeable. I happen to have a 1.5 millimeter stub nib. If you want to see what the writing looks like with the fine nib, look at my Beaumont video. It's the same nib. I can switch nibs back and forth between these pens. So don't buy the Collier because it has a better writing experience than the Beaumont, because it doesn't. It's the same nib. What's different is how the pen feels in your hand, and I prefer how the Collier feels in my hand. If I'm looking for a size comparison, at least in my collection, as limited as it is, compared sort of to the Ahab. And now looking down at my collection, I happen to think it compares very well to the Nippon set. Now I'm not using my Nippon set as the benchmark, so we'll talk about the Conrad. But before I get to that, to size comparison, here's what I think about this pen. This is such a flashy pen that I actually don't like to take it out, because then people see it and say, "Oh, nice pen, can I touch it?" And I just, I don't know, I prefer not to have people looking at my writing equipment. I'd rather just quietly go out and use something bland and boring like my Lamy Safari. People don't know it's a nice pen. Even the Noodlers, people don't look at that and say, "Wow," even though it is a nice pen. So this one doesn't actually get out in public too much. Another concern that I've had is it's a very dry writer. That I have 4 Edison nibs. They're all dry. So I'm pretty sure that's just a trait of the brand. And, if that doesn't bother you, go crazy. If it does bother you, it's something good to know. Now, I have actually had some personal communication with Brian Gray, the creator of Edison pens, and he has suggested that I get the nib worked on, make it a wetter flow. So apparently you can get a wetter flow. I don't know, I'm cheap. I don't like to send stuff in, and I hate to have somebody fix something just because it's exhibiting a trait that it's designed to have. And I figure if 4 pens are exhibiting it, maybe what I need to do is pick and choose the function of this pen. So I said big. I'd say it has at least a 1/4 inch, maybe more than a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch on the Noodler's Conrad acrylic. If I uncap these guys, no ink window, by the way, but since you can unscrew it and check the converter, that's not a deal breaker to me. The Noodler's Conrad has maybe an 1/8 of an inch on the Collier. I'm not going to bother comparing them posted because, as I said, you can't post the Collier. So if you're into posting, you won't like this pen. So let's do a writing sample and we will be done. I'd like to do a writing sample of my Edison Collier. Now, I'm just pointing out before I start this writing sample, I have the 1.5 millimeter stub nib. My biggest complaint about the Edison Collier is it's a bit drier. For comparison, I put a 1.5 millimeter stub nib from the Goulets on a Noodler's Conrad and wrote with Noodler's Black Swan and English Rose. Then I did the same on the Collier, and at least on my computer, I can see that the Collier is quite a lot more pale. Some inks it works better than others. Actually, with this ink, it's not as dramatic as I hoped it would be. It really showed up with Golden Brown and Apache Sunset. But anyway, I let you hear it there. That's not bad. It actually, when you first start it up, it writes just about as dark as the Conrad, but after you write a few words, then it starts to get pale. So not a bad writing experience, just not as wet as I would like. Overall, very nice pen. I'll just add that I've heard that this pen can be used as an eyedropper. I have not tried it, but if you do want to do an eyedropper, Brian Gray, the creator of this pen, says you can do it. What you want to do, unscrew this top. You probably can't tell, but you have a massive ink reservoir. And what you do is you put some silicone grease right here around these threads where it screws in, and then pray that you do not have this top section come unscrewed ever, or you will have a massive puddle of horrible, disgusting ink. So I thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.